Hi friends, I'm Manveer Singh Anand. I'm the founder and CEO of Night Gourmet Services and author of a best-selling book, Catering Your Way to Financial Independence. And in today's session, I'll be talking to you about the 3 revenue streams you can add to your catering business to augment not only your sales but to make a more profitable and viable business. I think all of us have experienced something called the pandemic, because of which we all have been wondering as to what is it that you do typically in a scenario like a pandemic. Well, that was a question which we also asked ourselves, and that's why I've been seeing multiple areas which have developed during this particular time, wherein which you can leverage upon your staff and your resources and avoid letting them go off, because you also understand that the times will come back, and in those times you would need to bank upon your staff and the team which has been serving you ever since. And that's why today specifically I'll be focusing upon the avenues which not only augment your business but also augment your brand. And that's why today the 3 steps or the 3 revenue streams which I'll be sharing with you have to be taken very seriously, because they have an application for anyone and everyone who has his existing catering kitchen and existing resources. So let me start with number 1. First and foremost is starting up with your own cloud kitchen. Now, I always say in my sessions that cloud kitchen business is expected to go 5 times in the next 5 years. Further, it's supposed to be a $1 billion market, and while a lot of new players are entering, why not catering companies, guys? And I definitely see a massive opportunity for caterers to be leveraging upon their cuisine and their existing staff through the cloud kitchen route. Now, first of all, what is a cloud kitchen? Cloud kitchen is a business wherein which you can start your own restaurant brand from the comfort of your kitchen or facility. You don't need to have the massive overhead of running a restaurant or a takeaway outlet or even have a retail front. It is basically having your restaurant brands listed online on the aggregator platform, which can be a Swiggy, Zomato, and so on and so forth. Now, that's why I basically recommend Cloud Kitchen to be a fantastic revenue source, because it will not only add that additional layer of revenue. Revenue is, I personally think, still being secondary. It always serves you from 2 perspectives. One is about helping you leverage upon your existing staff which has been working with you, and the second one being of you being able to augment your brand by putting out your signature classics to your clients without having the hassle of doing those long drawn free of cost tasting sessions what you typically need to do always, right? So like I said, cloud kitchen is the way to go for any catering kitchen operator, because that is an incremental revenue what you can add to yourself. And you need to understand that there's a vast set of, I would say, slew between the entire aspect of on-season and off-season within any catering enterprise, and that is something you really need to know about. So, hope Cloud Kitchen is a good revenue enhancer to your particular business, which I'm sure of also. Second is about experimenting with gifting. Now, when I say about gifting, I'm being very specific that every kitchen in the country or every one of you work in a specialty cuisine of your own. It can be Indian. In Indian, there can be your Amritsari cuisine, it can be your Chettinadu cuisine, it can be South Indian cuisine, and so on and so forth. But the beauty is what? The beauty is that you typically can come up with a very specific items in your menu which can be used for gifting. Now, typically in a continental cuisine, it can be your tomato and basil sauce, which is your arrabbiata sauce. It can be your Alfredo sauce. It can be a pesto sauce. Likewise, in the Chinese, if you do Pan Asian, now in Pan Asian you can typically try and explore doing something as wild as doing a black bean sauce mixture, chili oil mixture, or if you do Indian, then pickles is the way to go forward. Come to think of it, pickle in itself is a large enough market to cater to. And the beauty is what? That once you brand it well, it becomes an extension of your brand and you're able to leverage on multiple things. In fact, from my experience of seeing the catering industry in India, I see a lot of people getting into the overall wedding gifting business, and especially because the catering community knows the pulse of the market That's why you can always come up with, say, luxury wedding suites, luxury chocolates, luxury, I would say, even there's a market for luxury condiments. I mean, every food item which you can think of can have an element of some sort of gifting element which you can come up with. So I think second point, which is experiential gifting, can be a good part of what you're trying to target. And I see a great potential in this particular size of the market because the market is huge and it's up for disruption. Now comes the third part of it. The third and the final part is about something which I've experienced too during a lot of sessions or working with event management companies, corporates, and a lot of end clients. While the pandemic was around, everyone became a home chef or a home baker. There was a new revolution of the food economy which was created. Now, this gives rise to not only an influencer community, but it's also a great opportunity for a lot of catering companies to think about how they can leverage the power of experiences. Now, what do I mean by experiences? Now, experiences is something very, very simple. Imagine you trying to do DIY, which is called do-it-yourself style meal kits, and have a chef demo with your, with your customers or with the customers of the client. If you're working with an event company, or probably you do chef trials, you do something as basic as doing training workshops. They can be a fantastic source of revenue for you. And let me tell you one thing. Experiences is something which is here to stay. Because as the gatherings will take some time to actually come back to the normal, you still have a great opportunity trying to leverage upon these experiences of doing wine and cheese tasting, chocolate appreciation. I can go as wild and I can tell you doing Indian gravy tasting. Probably doing it the makhni style, doing it the chop masala gravy style, or doing a yellow curry tasting, the Thai curry tasting. There can be multiple elements what you can do around the food business. Even about explaining the simple facts of the origins of a particular recipe in itself can be an experience what you can sell. If you don't believe me, just go on to any of the event booking platform websites and you will see a plethora of food cooking workshops. A lot of people want to learn about the stuff which you do, and I think there's a big market to be capitalized in this particular part of the business. And I personally think that if you get into this at this time, this will always be a great source of revenue, not only right now but in times to come. And while I've shared the three parts of it, just to summarize, the first one being opening up a cloud kitchen as an extension to your existing brand. Second is experiential gifting, which is to do with luxury suites, to probably doing your gravies, your sauces as an extension to your business. And the third and most important being about you trying to play around with experiences. Now, once you do all these three things, you come in that sweet spot that you're not only dependent on catering as a business. However, you also have additional revenue streams which will augment and become an independent vertical in times to come. But what is more important for me to tell you today is that while you're doing all these activities and money being the priority in whatever you do as part of the sustainability aspect, but I will tell you something more interesting. All these elements have to be branded really well. If you're doing a cloud kitchen, they have to have beautiful packaging. If you're doing experiential gifting, it is all about the packaging. It's all about how you position your brand. You want to position it as a budget brand, as a mid-scale or aspirational brand or premium brand. It is all about the kind of positioning you want to do, but it adds great leverage to your business. And then, most importantly, you get to brand yourself as a viable caterer who has a well-rounded, diversified hospitality services business, and that is what adds a lot of flavor to it. I hope this session gave you good clarity about what are the things you can do to actually leverage upon your catering facility and make the most of it. Because let me tell you one thing, that while the opportunities in the market have been reduced on the catering front in the larger event space, I think there is a large plethora of opportunities which have come up, which will give you perennial sources of income if you are able to leverage on any of these three elements. I hope this session was useful. If you liked it, please do share it with your friends and family and anyone in the hospitality space whom you think can benefit from this exercise. And if you have any questions, please drop down in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to take your questions. Hope this was useful. Thank you so much. See you.